Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Mari Forth, here today with a very, very special book club kickback. And of course, I can't go dabbling into the smutty side of book talk all alone. So, with me today, one of my favorite book girlies is Kirsten McInnes. Kirsten, how are you?
I am so well. I'm so excited to finally be on an episode of Recap Kickback. We just had to kick Chappelle
Yes.
off for there to be
Yes.
something for me
Bye
to
bye.
talk about. Can't wait. Love Girls Night.
Yes.
I'm just so excited. And I feel like I didn't realize until probably end of last year how many of all of our friends are like bookish girlies. Like
Yes.
you and I got to talking about books one day, and that was exciting. And like Sasha's also big
Mhm.
time. Asia's in it.
Me and
Like
Asia, yep.
we could have like a really good book club if we actually
Legit.
tried.
We actually could. Like, if you guys wanted an actual book club, and you let us know in the comments and subscribing, we could get it popping because there have been so many recommendations that I've given to Kirsten, Kirsten's given to me, I've given to Asia, then I gave it to Asia, I passed that to Kirsten. It's just been so fun. Really just diving into books with everybody. And the funny thing about this podcast in particular, last year, me and Chappelle covered House of the Dragon on our Hot D podcast. It was very fun. We also do plan on covering A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is coming up pretty soon in June here, following the Duncan Egg series based on the Game of Thrones universe. So I wanted to come back to something that I had talked about. So during our coverage of Hot D, I was talking about Fourth Wing because I love dragons. I love books about dragons. And I just so happened to mention Fourth Wing, and I recommended it to people who, if they wanted to get some like young adult style Game of Thrones like content, I recommended it. And we actually got a whole bunch of people who like legitimately wrote back and was like, "Oh my god, I love Fourth Wing, please talk about it," stuff like that. So as soon as Onyx Storm came out earlier this year, me and Kirsten were like, we absolutely have to cover it. And we are finally getting around to it, but we're going to do it with a little bit of a twist. So we are going to talk about the book, but what we're here to really talk about is some fan theories and doing some speculating. Kirsten, what do you think?
I love speculating
Me
more than
too.
anything. Like, something based in fact? No, let's
Not at all.
speculate. Like
Yeah.
I am the host of Mess Magnets after all.
Let's make up some wild theories and suppositions. I love it. Like,
Yes.
so if you like this series, please again, feedback. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. So here on Recap Kickback, me and Chappelle, our fearless leader, cover whatever we want to. Last week we did our Sinners review. I don't know if you seen Sinners yet, Kirsten?
I saw Sinners on Saturday and I listened to your recap today. And
Yay.
listen, I hear there's vampires. I hear Mari's talking about it. I'm there.
Exactly.
The one thing that was missing for me is I feel like these vampires turned like really fast and you didn't
Quickly.
really speak on that. I was surprised.
You know what? Because the rate of the change really is just dependent upon the plot device that the author chooses. You know what I'm saying? Like
Fair.
some authors, you need a whole night or two for the corpse to reanimate. Some people, it's like this one was kind of like not even like a lycanthrope change, not even like werewolves. It was like really quick. It was like a zombie. It was like zombies. Yes, that's what it was. It reminded me of how quickly like zombies turn. But yeah, so thank you, Kirsten. We gotta talk more about that offline because we're not about to do another Sinners podcast.
No, and like my opinion is not gonna add anything to the conversation about Sinners anyway.
What? You can't talk about Irish folk jigging at all?
Okay, you know when he did do a full river dance, I could probably speak to that.
which is an amazing scene, by the way. Anyways, we also have Abbott Elementary coverage with Chappelle and Gia. That was really fun. They're doing a great job. Abbott Elementary is such a good show, and Chappelle and Gia are so hilarious when they cover it. So you can always check that out. Me and Matt have been doing some wrestling coverage over on the Wrestling Kickback. You gotta subscribe to know when we're gonna do the wrestling coverage, because if you're following along with us, it's one of those, if you know, you know. We thought we were gonna do some more coverage, and that kind of fell through. So it's an if you know, you know type of thing. But definitely subscribe so you can get your wrestling coverage. Me and Matt, we just did our WrestleMania review. Well, I did my WrestleMania review, and Matt's gonna come back on and talk about it. So lots of stuff over here on the Recap Kickback. The only way you can get it is if you subscribe by going to recapkickback.com, subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts, or hopefully you're looking at our beautiful, lovely faces over on the YouTube page. You can go to youtube.com/@recapkickback in order to see all of our stuff over there.
And the people here
So,
might not know me because I haven't been here before.
yes.
But if you're not currently subscribed to Recap Kickback on YouTube, we're literally in a fight. You just didn't know it yet.
Wait, did I not know it?
And like I'm not someone that you want to be in a fight with. I'm just gonna say that, okay? And if anyone's here listening, maybe because they know me and they aren't familiar with what's already going on.
Yes.
youtube.com/@kickback. Subscribe, thumbs up, comment, engage with the videos.
Please. We need it. And you know what, Kirsten, you're right. How rude of me. Can you please describe to our listeners who may not know of you? Tell them where you're from. Tell them about the Mess Magnets.
Yes. So myself and Sasha Joseph have a weekly pop culture, celebrity gossip, trending topics, rampant speculation podcast called Mess Magnets, where we talk about just whatever's really big on the internet on that day. And we try to frame our pop culture conversations in a way that's maybe like slightly less toxic than some of the other celeb gossip podcasts. Your mileage may vary on how successful we are at that. And then
less toxic, more mess though. So it balances out.
Yeah. We're extremely messy.
Yes, you guys do a great job.
Please listen.
Yes.
And Chappelle was on the most recent one covering for me. So that could be a great bridge for the audience of Recap Kickback.
Yes, exactly. So go check out our friends on Mess Magnets or on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. Correct, Kirsten?
That's right.
Yes. All right, great. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to deep dive into Onyx Storm and the Empyrean series. Okay, Kirsten. All right. We got to talk about like how this came to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. Wait, but you first. How did you get introduced to the Empyrean series?
Okay, so if you're a book girly listening to us, you obviously know about Book Talk. Like, if you don't know about Book Talk on TikTok, I don't know how you made it here. But Book
And also, I'm jealous of you. How have you avoided it?
But like, I'm an avid book reader. Like, anybody who's listened to any of my podcasts will know that I love reading. I've been reading, like, that was one of my main hobbies as a kid. And so I was always like constantly looking for new books to read. And so when you're on TikTok, you kind of just stumble into Book Talk.
Yes.
Unfortunately and fortunately. And Fourth Wing, back in 2023, Fourth Wing, which is the first book in this series, in the Empyrean series, was all over Book Talk. It was literally all over Book Talk. You couldn't go anywhere without it, popping up on your For You page. And I literally was desperate. I had an Audible credit. And I was just like, let's see. I literally just one day I was like, I have nothing else to do. I didn't feel like my normal murder mystery type book. And I didn't want anything heavy. I'm the type of person, I love reading young adult fantasy to get out of a rut. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I want something that's not heavy, I always go to the YA because
which is crazy because YA is literally like the heaviest stuff you'll ever read. Like I during like COVID lockdown, Brian Scally got me to read this series of YA books called the Unwind series by I think Neil Shusterman, and it's literally like in this world, abortion doesn't exist. You have to have a baby, but if you've had the baby until the baby is 1 year old, you can just like leave it on someone's doorstep. And if you don't get caught leaving it, they have to take in the baby. And then when your kid turns like 13, if you decide you don't want it anymore, it can be unwound for like organ donation parts. And it's crazy. I read the whole series, the whole damn thing.
Are you
and
sure
that's
YA?
for kids. Like for kids.
I don't understand.
It's literally, the book is about this boy who's like finds out his parents are gonna have him snatched up in the middle of the night to be like an organ donor.
That is ridiculous.
Goes on the run, and that's what the
why would you scare kids like that?
It's crazy.
But that's kind of why I like YA, because it's normally of like a 16-year-old girl, anywhere, insert 16 to 21-year-old girl who's going through a whole bunch of emotional feelings and also has probably 2 love interests. It's so unserious. So that's why I just love, I'd be like, oh man, my brain hurts. Let me just unwind with some YA, pun intended. So I just stumbled upon Fourth Wing. And for me, lately, being a mother myself and having 2 kids now, it's kind of hard. It's been harder for me to sit down and read a book. So even though I love a physical book, there's no way. I live and die by my Kindle app, and I am now only I am resuscitated by my Audible app. That's the only way I can consume most of my stuff. So when I bought the Fourth Wing audiobook, immediately the narrator was amazing. A good narrator, I know we've talked about this, Kirsten, a good narrator can make or break an audiobook.
No, like 100%. Sometimes you'll have a narrator and it's so horrible. And especially too, like, I'm not like a child hater. I'm fine with kids. But sometimes when there's a kid in an audiobook and the adult narrator is like trying to do a kid's voice, that's nails on a chalkboard to me personally. Because it's so like, no, just you could just say it in your normal voice and like tell me that the kid said it, or like have a kid read those lines.
It can be so off-putting. Like a bad narrator, like a very like, I hate monotone narrators, like just straight up monotone where it almost sounds like AI is doing it. I'm like, why are we even here? Like, why are you? This isn't voice acting. This is literally just reading words.
If it's that easy, give me a job. I'll read the. I could read them. I could read them monotone. I could give it some energy. Like, I'll do voices.
We'll do it all. I'm the type of person, like, if I find a good narrator for an audiobook, I will then click on the narrator and then look at the books that they do, and I'll pick a book like that. Like, I'll do that in a heartbeat. Teddy Hamilton is one of the narrators on this book. He is goated. He actually voices another one of Book Talk's favorite, The Haunting of Adeline. I don't know if you've
I will not be reading it, because what do you mean he does that with the gun? What do you mean? No, you can't make me.
I read it.
And how was it?
I listened to it because Teddy Hamilton is amazing.
And
so anyways,
did you like it?
I like Teddy Hamilton's voice. The rest of it was a lot. It was a lot, Kirsten. It was a lot.
Yeah, I read like a short synopsis of that because I too started getting recommended this book, and I've learned my lesson about blindly trusting Book Talk because you can't trust all of them.
You cannot. And I learned that lesson with that book the hard way. But it was well narrated. I will give them that. So that's literally how I consume books. So once I listened to Fourth Wing, so good. Rebecca Yarros is the author, and I believe the narrator is also, it's Rebecca. We're prepared. This is a prepared podcast.
We
Rebecca
are prepared. Why can't I
Solar.
type in?
Yeah, Rebecca Solar with Teddy Hamilton, Justice Bolding, and Jasmine Walker, which we talked about this. When they switch up a narrator on you and you don't realize it, it is one of the most amazing things in a book to me.
Yes. It's just I feel like there's not much that's surprising anymore in the world. And so like to have something that's surprising and it's not a bad surprise is just always gonna feel amazing.
Yeah. So I listened to Fourth Wing back in 2023, both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame like back to back, and then I had to do the year-long wait for Onyx Storm. I just so happened to say, "Hey Kirsten," at the end of last year. I was like, "Kirsten, I really think you'll like Fourth Wing." Because I think did you hear me recommend Fourth Wing on House of the Dragon?
No, I think I just messaged you and was like, I need books. Like I finished the last audiobook you recommended. Like, what are some good audiobooks I could listen to? And you were like, Fourth Wing. And I was like, I don't know. I read ACOTAR and it was bad. And so A Court of Thorns and Roses is another romantic-y series that gets heavily pushed on Book Talk. And listen, I read them before I knew about the author, okay? I wouldn't have read them if I'd known that she sucks, but I didn't know, okay? I didn't know. And so I read them all, and now I do know that she also sucks at writing, and the books are not good. It's really, like, ACOTAR is just all nothing happens, and, like, every main character has too much plot armor to ever die. So even when, like, a big battle's happening, you're like, oh, well, like, no one actually dies. Really cool.
Wow.
And so I was like, I'm done. I'm not listening to any Book Talk recommendations anymore. Like I read all of the books. Because I'm a masochist and a completionist. And so I was like, oh, I don't know. And you're like, no, just like you said you have an Audible credit. Like you just listen to the audiobook, listen to it. And I flew through it over my like winter holidays while like doing a puzzle, and then I flew through Iron Flame, and then I had to wait like I guess a month for Onyx.
Yeah, I was about to say you didn't even have
to. Here we are, baby.
Yes, there you go. Lucky you. You only had to wait a month. Like
I know.
Me over here waiting a whole year and stuff. Like,
but now I'm in the trenches with you.
Yeah,
because she hasn't even started writing the fourth book yet.
Right, which is crazy because like Fourth Wing and Iron Flame came out like relatively back to back technically, and then Onyx Storm had a little bit of break, so now she hasn't even written it. Like,
yeah,
I'm still like in a toxic relationship with George R.R. Martin. Like it.
Oh no, give up.
It's been
never happening. Years. It's literally never.
I don't understand. I. What is he waiting for?
When I found out that book 4 and 5 of A Song of Ice and Fire were just this at the same time, but he wrote too much and had to split the characters up. The scream I scrumped, especially considering the fourth book is like all the worst characters that you don't want to read their chapters. Like, just you didn't even have to release that book. It's fine.
It's so funny because I know everybody hates book 4, but I love how much setup it is in book 4. Like, but I say that as somebody who again who had started reading once all 5 were out. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have to. I think there was like a 5-year wait between book 4 and 5, even though they were the same freaking book.
He wrote them at the same time.
Right.
Like, that man is so wrong.
He's diabolical.
For so many
things. Is diabolical. For while he's over here writing Fire and Blood and Dunkin' Egg, which I read all of them, like he's diabolical. No. I think he is literally waiting.
George R. Martin again.
He wants to not be on this plane of existence so he can release them and not have to hear about everybody complaining. Like that's what I think is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but surely he hears more complaints about it not coming out than he would about people not like people already saw the show, which is like,
please
not going to be the same, but will be like similar.
I hope he retcons the fuck out of that. If that's it, I hope it's nowhere near what the end of the show was. But okay, all right, let's stay on point. We see book girlies. Let us know. Let us know some of the stuff you've heard on Book Talk and ask us if we've read them. All right, so Fourth Wing is the introduction to the Empyrean series. a quick overview of that. Basically, this series follows like young dragon riders as they go through what is essentially a huge gauntlet. They have to go through a parapet. They have to walk over this thing, and then they have to go through all these trials to prepare themselves to get chosen by dragons, which is called threshing. And our main character, Violet Soaringale, is your YA girl of your dreams. She's like 20. She's 23 though, right? Or 20.
Yeah,
she's 21.
I think they're all 21 like when they start going
Love
through
that.
at Best Guides, which is great. Because this is not actually YA. It is written for adult women, technically. I would say that this book has heavy Divergent vibes. If anyone read that series, it's like Divergent, but like series. Magical with dragons.
Yes, exactly. It is exactly that.
Yeah.
and that's what I love about all these books, and that's why I lump it all in YA, because I know you're a Hunger Games. I know.
I just finished rereading the whole trilogy this month.
Exactly. Like we were there. We were in the trenches in the Hunger Games. Divergent was right there once Hunger Games was over. We're like, yes, some more. Give me some more post-apocalyptic girls fighting against the system. Please and thank you. And that's exactly what this is as well. So if you're a fan of those books, I really do think you'll like these books. This book.
100%. I do. There is also like a fairly popular online theory that I think is completely baseless, where people say that they think that this series is written by AI.
What?
I don't understand.
This one?
Yes, this one. I was like, are you sure you don't mean ACOTAR? Like, what do you mean?
There's so
like,
many out there that could be.
Because I find it's so good, and I think the reason is because people are like, oh, well, there's all of these like things where the loop doesn't get closed, blah blah blah. We're 3 books into a 5-book series, so not everything is going to be all wrapped up by the end of each book, or else it would be pretty boring and no one would want to read the next book. Like, anyway, I have heard that, and like a few friends of mine who I would generally trust their taste in books have been like, oh, it's so poorly written, and I think that they're wrong.
Yeah. And I wonder if, because you listened to the first 2 and then read the third one.
Yes.
Did you get a different experience well, I know you did, but like did it pull something different?
I think it really helped to start with the audiobooks because like all of like the dragon names are all in Gaelic, right? And so if I had just been reading the books, like the physical books rather than listening, ain't no way I would have known how to say like Sigale or Tarn. Like, I just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have known, and it would have been one of those embarrassing situations where you like, well, it's not actually embarrassing because it just means you read and it's good. But when you like learn a word from a book and you don't know how to say it, I would have definitely had that a lot. Like, I was reading through it and I'd reach a word and I'd be like, oh, right.
You have to pick up the context clues.
Oh, I know exactly who they're talking about because I've heard this word before. I just didn't know it spelled like that.
That's so funny. And so because to me it doesn't seem badly written. I read some really badly written books.
We all have, like, unfortunately not every book is going to be great literature, and especially if you do, like, I know you're not as much a romance girly, you're more of like a fantasy thriller girl, but like
I do a little bit of romance. Unfortunately, we were all subjected to 50 Shades.
And when I say the amount of fan fiction I've read in my life that was truly like excellence, and that could be like, oh, that is literature. And yet the stuff that becomes famous and popular is always bad. Annoying. Like, even like Ali Hazelwood, her like Love Theoretically series is all Star Wars fan fiction originally. And I can't be reading her books. First of all, because in Love Theoretically, the male main character takes like a whole breast into his mouth, and that's supposed to be like sexy because she's so small and little, and he took home. But then she wrote a werewolf book where she includes bestiality. It's bestiality.
Okay.
So like she's dead to me personally.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, so I think what kind of put book talk on the map is like spicy talk, spicy book talk, right?
Oh my god. Do the bookstores in America also do the little table where it's like hashtag spicy book talk and
They
it's
do.
all like Tessa Bailey and Colleen Hoover books?
Yeah. Praise Jesus, I've never read a Colleen Hoover book.
And I never will.
Mostly because of you. Well, mostly because
Listen, I saw some excerpts of things that she's written. We don't need to be getting into all
that. Okay. So the point of this series that we are on, this podcast that we are on,
about this book.
About this book. So I would say that if you have not read the series or read the book, like you will be confused once we get into the fan theories, right?
Yeah,
because we're gonna do like the most high levelest of summaries right now, and then we're gonna jump into the nitty-gritty of the fan theory. So just to give you a taste of this series / Onyx Storm itself, we're gonna do a little bit of a little snoozing of what's going on. But other than that, if you don't know, go stop right now, go read the book, come back later. Or if you don't care and you want to just come along with the ride, keep going. But
you might be confused.
You might be very confused.
So it's okay. Basically,
please, Kirsten.
Conflict of the whole series, right? So there's dragons, and there's the whole like the nation of Navarre, which is protected by wards from just outside threats, which are kind of unnamed to start the series. But where we get by book 3 is that we know that there is like the enemy to the dragon riders, which is venin. And the venin, basically everyone who rides a dragon gains like a magical ability from their dragon, same as they thought their enemy were griffin riders, but it turns out there's a true enemy, which is the venin, and they channel directly from the earth. And they are trying to suck all of the power out of Navarre, specifically to get to like the hatching grounds of the dragon eggs, because that would give them like unlimited power to destroy everything and destroy humanity. Is like the basic reason for all of this. And the nation of Navarre and the kings and their advisors decided many years ago, like 3 generations ago, that they were going to hide the existence of the venin because I guess it's too scary for the average person. So it's like it takes 1 generation to write the new stories, another generation to teach them, and then true history is lost, which is like it's the exact type of political narrative that YA is always using. And it's so great.
And like for I guess we mentioned Star Wars earlier. If you want to like something you can contextualize, it's almost like the Sith it's almost like the venin are like dark Sith. Like the dragon riders are the Jedi. They use magic like within the power of the dragons. They feel that power is not theirs to take. Meanwhile, the venin, they just want all the power. They want to control it all, and they want to use it and wield it to do whatever they want to. So they're kind of like the dark Sith. So for anybody who's wants some Star Wars references there, that's kind of like what it is. And that is the main conflict. So great job, Kirsten. And it's just like every type of book like this is, they're propped up as this is our enemy, and the enemy that they're told are the dragon riders who come from the kingdom of Poromiel. I said dragon riders, griffin riders that come from Poromiel. These riders, they, instead of bonding with dragons, they bond with griffins, which are like, they're like half eagle, half lion.
Half eagle, half lion. Yeah. Griffins are a really cool kind of mythical creature that I feel like doesn't get enough attention.
Exactly. But in these books, they're like smaller than the dragons though, right? They're like Size of like a horse, I imagine. That's how I imagine
Yeah,
it.
and I think that that's how I would
Like
imagine a
horse?
griffin just kind of in general. Like, I don't think they would be, like, giant, whereas dragons are, like, so larger
So
than
big.
life.
Yeah.
And what I love is, and I can't even remember if it happened in this one or the second book. I think it's in this one where they learn more about the relationship between the griffins and their riders because they're now kind of aligned. And you learn that it's like, if you want to become a dragon rider, you have to walk across the parapet, which is like the size of a 2x4.
Yeah.
Like, it's like really small, and it's a really high distance off the ground, and you have to run across, and if you fall, you just die. Like, you would not, there's no coming back from that. Whereas like with the griffin riders, they like jump off a cliff, and if a griffin catches them, they're bonded to that griffin. But if a griffin doesn't catch them, they just fall to the sea, swim back to shore, and go choose like a different career path. It's not all about murder with these griffins. And it's the same as where like the dragon and the rider are bonded. If the dragon dies, the rider dies. If the rider dies, the dragon may or may not die. They kind of get to choose if they'll continue or not. The griffins, either partner dies, they're both dead. Like, it's just like a really interesting difference between the two.
Yeah, and it's really cool because in book 1 and book 2, they're being told the Griffin Riders are attacking. They're trying to attack us. They're trying to destroy our wards. But what you learn is the Griffin Riders are basically running from the Venin. They're trying to get behind Navarre's wards because the wards protect the Navarians from the Venin, and the Griffin riders from Port Meal, they want that protection, but Navarre is being dicks.
Well, yeah, and Navarre has decided like this is as far as the ward stretch. We can't help any more people. Like, very anti-immigration sentiment from the King of Navarre, and the people from Port Meal are just like, nah, we're raiding your outpost because you have weapons that will actually be able to kill the Venin. So we're doing that. The other kind of internal conflict is in Navarre, there was a rebellion many years ago, and these were the dragon riders and citizens of Navarre who were like, we need to protect Port Meal and the rest of the world from this larger threat. And they were all put to death. So their children are now at Basgiath to learn to be riders because a deal was made where basically if they can make it through dragon riding training at Basgiath, they can live, but otherwise they would have all been put to death. And so their leader is Xaden, and he is in charge of all of their lives. And where we left off with Xaden, the second book, is he turned into a Venin to save our main character, Violet.
And they are the crux. They're the main love story here in these books, and it is a sappy one. It is like it's enemies turned lovers, because Violet's mom actually was the general who ordered, or she was there to order the deaths of Xaden's parents and all of the people who led the rebellion. So when Violet first crosses the parapet and she meets Xaden, they hate each other. Well, he hates her because his mom killed his dad and all of his his family and stuff like that. And so initially they hated each other. But once Violet was chose by Tarn, her dragon Tarn, who is like the largest black dragon, right?
He's like he's like the scariest, biggest, baddest. Like, he's not technically in charge, but he carries a lot of sway.
Yes. She bonds to him, and his mate is a blue dragon named Sigel, who, look, that's Xaden's dragon.
Yeah.
And because they're bonded through their dragons, that bond stretches to them as well. So they become bonded to each other. Their lives are intertwined. Like Kirsten said, if one of them dies, then it could kill their dragon, which then their bonded dragon would kill the other dragon, and then that would kill them as a rider. So even though they quote unquote hated each other and might have wanted to kill each other, oh no, now they can't kill each other, because if one of them dies, they kill themselves.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like, enemies to lovers is such a funny trope because almost never are they actually enemies. Like, generally speaking, in a romance context, enemies to lovers will be like the female main character is like, this man hates me and wants me dead, and I'm confused by my feelings for him because I know he wants me dead, but I still think he's hot. And then it's always like, the man is always like, I never hated you. I was like scared of how you made me feel or how I had to protect you. Like, every time.
It's
Like,
always
it's
a
never
miscommunication. Yeah.
it's never like actual enemies. And maybe that's better. Like, I think rivals
I
to
don't
lovers
know.
is like a cuter concept
Way better.
anyway.
Mhm.
But he also, we find out in Onyx Storm all along, he had made a deal with her mom to protect her at Best Guy anyway. So like, he was never gonna kill her.
Right. Just weird down. But on top of that, Xaden being what's called a marked ones, like Kirsten said, it's the children of the rebels who are put to death. They are protected by their rebel relics, protected in a sense, and they I lost my train of thought there, but like they are forced, yeah, they are forced to be dragon riders. So it's kind of like, because it's very deadly to be a dragon rider.
Yeah, it's because it's like, if you're not cut out to be a dragon rider, you'll die at Best Guys anyway, and you'll get the death sentence just in like a more horrifying way. Whereas if you are strong enough to be a dragon rider and you're going to fight for Navarre now and be loyal, then you're a valuable asset because you're stronger. And yeah, they all have the signets, which are like tattoos. And so when you like bond with your dragon, you get a signet from that. But then all of these rebel children also are marked because when their parents were burned to death, they all got a mark. And that is the subject of a lot of conjecture of like, what does that mean? Does that protect them from having their mind read? Does it like give them kind of more cachet to bond with a dragon? Like,
yeah, it's always been one of those things that I've questioned as well, because initially when I read Fourth Wing, I thought it was a punishment for them, because I mean, they say it's like it marks them as a traitor's child. Like, it to all that can see, they are sometimes treated within the quadrant as traitors' children. But in the same breath, if 3 or more of them are gathered in an area, then they're
they're not allowed. They could be put to death.
Yes, because them being together shields them. So like, it's so weird. So like, I have always also thought, like, is this a punishment, or is this it has come in handy several times in this book
series. And I think like it really points to where we're going. Obviously, like, there's so much more to the dragons themselves and the Irids that we just don't know yet, and I think is going to be a lot more of a focal point in books 4 and 5 of this series, because obviously the dragons armed the children of the rebels with a defense against like some of the strongest dragon riders.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, again, it feels like a gift because they are all super, super strong in comparison to like some of the non-marked ones. So we find ourselves in this series in Onyx Storm, kind of reeling from the Battle of Basgiath, where the Vinin try to attack the ward stone in Basgiath. The ward stones are what power the wards, and basically Violet's wait, was that in the end of Fourth Wing?
Yeah, and end of Iron Flame was when Violet's mom dies, giving her power back to the ward stone, so that they can refire it and get it up and working. And like, they've thought like all the power comes from like all the different colors of dragons, the 6 types of dragons, but there's actually a 7th type of dragon, which is what's required to have the good wards, which thankfully Violet has bonded to 2 dragons. And one of them is an Irid, which is the 7th secret dragon.
Yes, that we buried the lead here. Violet is our main character. Not only is she bonded to Taryn, who bonded to Sagel, who's bonded to Xaden, but she bonded an Irid. They didn't know it was an Irid until literally like this book.
Yeah, like, we were like, oh, it's so crazy. That's a dragon who can change your color.
Yeah,
I never gave it another thought.
Not a thought at all, because when she originally bonded, Andarna was a feather tail dragon, and like she was golden, and to everybody what they thought was they just thought she was a baby dragon. They thought she was a baby dragon who hadn't shown her colors yet, and nobody had ever seen a baby dragon, so they just assumed that she had bonded a little baby dragon. But come to find out, she was a baby dragon, but she was a baby dragon of the Irids, which is the 7th breed. Yeah. And so now this whole book half of this book is about them trying to find the rest of the Irids, because they are that 7th dragon breed, and they need more Irids to fire the other ward stones in the other different provinces of Navarre.
And I have to say, I don't understand why the same dragon can't fire more than one ward stone. Like we know it as a fact that it doesn't work, that they can't do it. Makes but why? What's the reason?
What is the reason?
I mean, I guess probably like their power flows through it. So like maybe it would separate their power out too much from them if they had more than one. I don't know.
Maybe.
But they're like, we need to fire a 2nd ward stone in
Atria. Right?
Atria, yes, which is Xaden's
capital, the capital of Tirandor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see, we're here. There's so many names. There's so many names. There's so many places, y'all. The map, yes. Kirsten got the map with the book.
Yeah, I got the map. And here's the thing: when I'm reading a book, I'm never gonna look at the map.
Are you serious? I'm always looking at the map.
I'll like look at the map when I get the book, and then I'm like,
You're like,
this seems like not my business, you know, like do I really need to know where I am? But it actually does come in handy because like they do some lengthy trips.
This book? Oh my god.
Book. So I did find myself looking at this one to try and understand it a little bit better. But
y'all, this book was like fight, battle, long trip across 6 different islands, battle, book, big war fight. I was like, what is happening?
Literally like that Kim K audio that's like club, another club, us, no sleep.
It's exactly that.
So there's like the continent, which is where all of this is happening, but then across the sea there's a series of islands. Each island is dedicated to one of the different gods in this series, which this is a
pretty cool
polytheocracy, I guess is what it'd be called if there's so many gods in one religion. But I don't have a great sense on if it's like, is it one religion or is it several different religions, one based on war, one based on love, like I don't
not really fleshed out.
I think it's maybe one religion with many gods. They're like, well, maybe if we explore these islands, we'll be able to find the Irids. They'll come and help us once we tell them about how bad the Venin are, and it'll be fine. And so it's really a journey through the middle section of the book of like island, and what is going to happen at each island. And this is like they like find Xaden's mom, who was initially from one of these islands. Like
it was a whole nother book. It was a book within a book.
It really was.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, but I liked it. I was just like, oh, this is different. Like after so many little skirmishes and battles, like I went back and counted. There was like 3 battles and skirmishes before the midway point of that trip. And then when they came back, there was like another 4. I was like, where and all the fighting and fighting here, fighting there. We're fighting here now. Like, where are we fighting?
They're fighting everyone everywhere. It's I almost said and it's I really like it, and I like learning about the other islands and learning about, like, what the different people believe. I do think that that was, like, a pretty major criticism when the book first got released, is that people didn't really like the journey. They maybe didn't understand where they were, what was going on at each location. Like, I found a lot of people talking about how they did not understand what was going on, and, like, did they even read the first 2 books? Did you find that to be your experience when you were reading Onyx Storm?
I did. I went back. I had to go back and re-listen to just the island part of them island hopping because they do she does such a good job of talking up how grave the situation is. It's like the Venin are coming, Xaden might turn, the Venin are coming. And then for you to kind of stop and like do like it's not a leisurely stroll through these islands. It's not because it's a diplomatic mission and all of that, but it just feels weird because you're like, well, what's happening? Are they not coming? Like, where, are they waiting until you come back? Like the continent to fight you? Like it just felt like oddly placed.
It is a little bit odd, but I also think that also, so we haven't even mentioned, so Violet's power is that she can basically create lightning and channel power from the sky or the ground. And more on that when we get to theories about powers, but she is so powerful and generates so much power that the Venin want her on their side so bad.
Yes.
And so I think that maybe with her being on the islands away from the continent, it's like I think the Venin can tell she's not there, and so they're kind of like, okay, let's regroup, let's get ready for when she's back, because she's who they really want.
That would make more sense. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, that would be my only complaint. I did have to go back and be like, yo, what? like but I still really enjoyed the book. I think it's just because how many pages is it physically there?
Oh, let's see. Many. It's a big.
Yes.
It is a big one.
Because it was a 24-hour Audible listen.
It is 524 pages.
Yeah. So I just think there were so many battles. The trip was cool. Like I liked the trip. I really did like the trip. But I still don't know. It felt like one of those cutaways during like Family Guy.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I think that so there's 2 main things from the islands that I think are going to be really, really relevant in the future. Yeah. The one is so Violet had the bottom half of her hair is pure white. And everyone thinks that this is like a genetic thing they don't know. But it turns out that when she was a baby, due to all of her health issues, because she has pretty clearly, it seems like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome with the way that her joints are always like popping out. And some of her other symptoms kind of seem like POTS adjacent. So like she's definitely got some issues with her health, and she would have had that her whole life. And so her dad took her to be dedicated to Dune.
Yes, Dune.
To one of the gods, Dune. And when they go to the temple of Dune, the god of war, on this mission, they see that
goddess, I think.
The goddess. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh my God.
I was correcting myself. Yeah.
Internalized misogyny over here. That's crazy from me. When they go to her temple, all of the people that have been, like blessed by Dune, they all have like their whole hair is the white color. And it's like because she wasn't fully dedicated, only half of her hair is. So that leaves like something open.
A little fun. Yeah.
And that's so Sasha Joseph, also her theory at the end, because at the end of the book, there's like Violet comes back and everyone's like, oh my God. And she's like got a wedding ring stuff. They don't actually say what she looks like. And Sasha theorized her hair is going to be all white now. That part of this is that she went and they finished the dedication.
But you don't think that would, I mean, that would be the first thing. If I'm Brennan and I'm walking, I'd be like, girl, what's going on with your hair? Oh, also, what's that rock on your finger? Like, I think the hair would be the first thing I would see.
You would think, but I feel like it's maybe something that Rebecca Yarros doesn't want us to know yet.
That's
and so that we don't. So Sasha brought that up to me, and I was like, that's so smart.
Why isn't she on this podcast? But anyways,
I know. I should have brought her in.
What was the second thing?
The second thing is when they go to the island associated with the god of luck, they all receive a gift, and you have to just be fine with what you get, whether it's good luck or bad luck. There's a kitten, there's a death. It's very, very dramatic. But Violet's gift was a compass with no arrow.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think that is going to lead her back to Xaden in the 4th or 5th book.
Yes. I
think lots of people think that. That's not an original thought from me.
No, it's not. No.
No, it's not. It's okay. And it's okay. And you should say it. I'm not trying to take credit for everyone else's thoughts and opinions.
No, when I was reading now, dang it. Because when I was reading it, I had that clocked. And now that you're saying it, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those things where she uses it to find him. Okay. So that is our very brief summary of Onyx Storm. Yeah. It's nowhere near as much as that's in the actual book. The book is massive. Huge. So again, if there's anything you want us you want to talk about with, put it in the comments.
Put it in the chat. Just don't call us dumb. It's not our fault. It's a big book. We're doing our best.
It's a huge book. It's a huge book. And we're about to get to the fun part. We're about to start speculating. So feel free to tap out now if you don't want the very, very spoilery portion of this podcast. Just remember to subscribe at recapkickback.com. Go subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@recapkickback. If you're new here, drop us a like, drop us a follow, all of that. Rate, review, subscribe. Amazing. Okay, let's go move on to the theories.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Yes. All right. So this was kind of fun putting this together. There's so many fan theories out there that it was we were like, which ones do we choose? But I think we very, very much have to talk about the biggest one. It's more of a speculation than fan theories in a sense, but who is Xaden's new brother? So let me set this up. At the end of the book, when it switches over to Xaden's perspective, Xaden basically he goes over to the dark side. He drains as much power as he can in order to save Sigale and to save the rest of his friends, creating this what is named after the book, an Onyx Storm. He literally blackens the whole area, kills everything, allows Violet to kill Theophany, the mage, the sage, whatever.
I think sage, maybe.
Yeah, Maven, the Maven that was following her, which I don't know what their rankings are, Venom rankings.
Well, that's the thing too. We don't know anything really about the Venom. We just know about their one dude, Berwin, I think.
Berwin, yes.
And then Theophany, and then we haven't even learned anything else. And
Theophany's dead now. So Berwin is the sage who basically coaxed Xaden into channeling the first time at Basgiath. And ever since then, he's been calling to him to become an initiate to become Venom. And Xaden, throughout the whole book of Onyx Storm, has been really trying to not do that because he wants to stay with Violet, and Violet's been trying to find a cure for him being a Venom, which we both said that we hated that at the end of book 2 he channeled to save her. But anyways,
yes. Listen, it's Violet and Xaden. If they're gonna do one thing, it's anything to save each other.
Exactly. Yes. And so when Xaden meets Berwin, technically his Venom sage master, Berwin Berwin says, well, I have another son. And I have the quote here. Oh my God.
Yes.
Xaden says, Xaden's mind is on the new son and his new brother, he calls them. He says, how could he do this? choose this after watching me stumble and fall over the last 5 months? How could he willingly walk the path that I fought like hell to leave? He's the last person I ever would have expected to turn, and yet here we are. I can't let Sigel die. I can't leave him to stumble down the same path I did, and I can't allow my friends to perish, so I can selfishly keep Violet by my side. And he thinks this right before he channels and creates the Onyx Storm. And so the biggest theory is who on their side it has now turned to become Xaden's new brother. And Kirsten, I'm just gonna say this part completely went over my head on first listen because that part was mixed with Panchek, because Panchek,
Yes.
who was a teacher, had also turned on them and was becoming I don't know if he was becoming Vinin, but he definitely sold them out. We find out that Panchek was the one who allows the Vinin to infiltrate Basgiath. Like Panchek is the one who was leaking all of their like military stuff to the Vinin. Like that's how the Vinin knew where to strike, where the weapons were and stuff like that. So I just thought he was referring to Panchek, and I was like, "Oh, Panchek's dead." And then I started going through stuff, and I was like, "Wait, oh, there was another one who turned." Kirsten, how did I get this so wrong?
No, but it actually took me a second too. Like I finished the book, I was like, okay, that was good, and then I immediately. It was actually so sick that my For You page did not start giving me theories or spoilers until literally like the moment I finished the book. It's like they knew, and then everyone's like, "Who's his new brother? What's going on?" I was like, "Okay, hold on, I gotta go back and I gotta read this again, to understand it." So yeah, we know that there's a new Venin. And it has to be someone who has known that Xaden was one and like saw him struggling. Those are like the key parts. Yeah. So a lot of people think that this could be Brennan, Violet's brother. I think if Brennan is Venin, which that rhymes, I think that he was already one before. I don't think he would be new to the game.
See, I don't think it's Brennan, because Brennan didn't know about him being Venin until very recently.
Unless he was already one all along and they can sense each other.
True. But when he was told, remember when him and Mira were told, I'm pretty sure it was definitely in this book. Yeah. They were pissed. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think it's Brennan.
I don't think it's Brennan. I think a prevailing fan theory is that it's Bodhi. So Bodhi is Xaden's cousin, and Bodhi is next in line for the Tyrandor throne. And Bodhi is actually, there's like 3 main battles at the end of the book. There's oh my god, I know I'm gonna butcher like all of these names, but
that's okay.
I know there was a battle in Erasia.
Yes.
Right before the Ward Stone was refired by the era that came to collect Andarna. So there was one in Erasia. And then what is it? The one with the D. Oh god. We'll figure it out. But it's the very last battle. It's the biggest battle in the book. Drathis. Whew.
There you go. Look at you go. Me, I'm like, oh, let me open the book. It's not even marked to what page I would have to go to, but I'm like, I'll find it. Let me just reread the whole thing right here.
Right here. Drathis. The Battle of Drathis is the last battle in the book. It is the big battle. It's the battle where we get several narration changes. It's the battle where we get a main character death, which disintegrated me. And it is the battle that Xaden he fully turns. And it's during the Battle of Drathis and the battle in this book of Erasia. Like at this point, I want to say like the 3rd Battle of Erasia, because I mean, come on, I'm pretty sure they fought there so many times.
They just keep fighting.
They keep fighting it. Right. So it's there that he keeps telling Bodhi, you have to hang back, you have to stay in the palace, you have to do this, because if I fall, which Xaden again already knows that he's fighting tooth and nail not to turn venom. So, but he says it to Violet several times, like this is not an if, it's kind of a win. So he's preparing to, turn and have to cut all of this off. And they had just fought so hard for him to finally get the dukedom of Tyrandor back. And when he got that back, he used it to open his wards to the people of Port-Emil to let people in. And to disobey the Navarian king. So he does not want the throne of Tyrandor to revert back to Navarre. So the next in line would be Bodhi. And so throughout all of the battles, he keeps telling Bodhi, hang back. Don't do this. Don't go nowhere. So it allows for Bodhi to go unseen through these battles. I think this theory has legs, Kirsten.
I think it definitely has legs, but I'm like a little bit more intrigued with the idea of it possibly being Garrick, who is also one of Xaden's like longtime friends.
Mm-hmm.
And in that final battle, Garrick is like, because his signet is that he can like move through space, kind of
second
thing.
Signet. Yeah, and he's a distance wielder.
And he's using his distance wielding like quite a lot in that final battle. And I could see maybe he would turn venom in that moment because there's just so much that he's trying to do to help everyone. And the reason why I like the idea of it being Garrick is Xaden calls it like his new brother. And I don't know if you would call Bodhi like a new brother. I know technically they're cousins, but I feel like he already thinks of Bodhi as a brother. And so I don't know if he would think of him as a new brother.
That's a great point. This is hard, right? Like,
yeah, and Garrick is like not really in the first two books, and then suddenly he got so much airtime in the third book. So I'm like, okay, something's going on with him.
Yeah, Garrick is a distance wielder or a walker. Like he can take one step and be like from Basgiath to Erasia in one step, which is very far and stuff, which is really cool. He also, what's his first signet? I'm looking at his first. Oh, he's an air wielder as well. So air wielding is pretty common in a sense, and then a distance wielding is not. He was just in that battle so much though, like,
and like wielding so much.
He was, yeah.
And so like, what if he's wielding from the earth?
Gotcha. True.
I don't know. But I feel like Bodhi is the more popular theory though. I just want to be a contrarian.
And another reason why people think that the Bodhi theory has legs, it's because when Violet loses literally the last line of the book, like we talked about it, is her realizing she has a ring on her finger and she's lost the last 12 hours of her memory, and that Imogen erased her mind because she asked her to. And Xaden actually says he leaves with her their marriage license in the Temple of Dune, and he leaves her the rock of like this emerald from Tyrandor on her finger, and then he also says, "Don't look for me; it's yours now." So one of the reasons why people think it could be Bodhi is because if Bodhi has turned venom now, then Xaden wants to secure his line. So he marries Violet. It's yours now. He knows that Erasia and Tyrandor would be great in her hands, because she believes in everything he wanted to do. He wanted to help more people. He wanted to help his people. And it could be he did that so that she would get Tyrandor, because him and Bodhi can no longer have it. So that's another reason
I can see that. I think there's a strong chance that it's Bodhi. I just want to be on the record saying it's Garrick in case it is him, and then I can be like, I was right and y'all were wrong.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's just that the ring and everything happening so fast. Like, I'm like, I don't feel that I can trust basically anything else that happened in Onyx Storm, because how much was Violet's memory getting taken away?
Exactly.
We don't know.
And I would just like to throw a wild card out here.
Yes.
Could it be Dane Atos?
How long did Dane know about him being a Venom? Like, when did he found out, like, when they're on the trip, right?
He could have known from jump because he's a mind what is he? He's a memory.
Well, but he never touched. He has to touch to get the thoughts, right?
But does he? Because that's another fan theory. People think he might be more powerful than he lets on, and
he just uses the touching thing to, like, stay alive because they normally kill people with that signet.
Yes, Dane Atos is an intrinsic, which means he can read people's minds. For him, his thing is he has to be able to touch you in order to sift through your memories and read your mind. While regular intrinsics, they just automatically read people's minds, and it normally makes them crazy when their signet first materializes. So people kill them immediately.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be an intrinsic, which I feel is genuinely insane considering the powers come from the dragons. And so, like, if you trust the dragons, you should trust that they're giving that power to the right person, perhaps.
Exactly.
Although it does seem like some of these dragon riders be evil, like Dane's dad. So
and Dane went, so he does not show up at the end of the book. At the end of the book, it's Brennan, is Imogen, Violet. Correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we see Dane is when he is up on the walls of Drathis with Imogen right before Quinn's death. And then after that, Garrick walks to Imogen and Quinn, taking Imogen and Quinn's body. And I don't believe we see Dane. I don't believe we see Dane where they're at.
I know, like,
did I just solve it?
You might have solved it. You might have just solved it. And if it's Dane, like, props to you. So Dane at the beginning of the series is presented as, like, Violet's maybe other option.
Yeah, love
romantically. But I think that Rebecca Yarros has been very clear that, like, Violet and Xaden are endgame for her. And, like, I don't think Violet and Dane would ever be a thing. So I guess I could see him, like, because it's like we like Dane, but we were annoyed by Dane, and then we were like, Dane is evil, and then we're like, oh, maybe Dane's not so bad, and then it's like, it could be a real roller coaster with Dane.
And if you remember, the last thing I remember Imogen said is like Dane was doing something and she was like, oh wow, Atos is just down with breaking all the rules now, because Dane no longer really has anything tethering him. You know, he'll never get Violet's love. I don't, did he want it?
I think
him and his dad
to
start, right? Him and his dad do not see eye to eye. His dad feels like he is a traitor, and he says he has no son. Dane believed in the cause of, like, helping the people of Tyrandor, which is why he went with them on their mission and all of that. But, like, what is truly stopping him from becoming Venom other than his moral code that he's been slowly shedding anyways?
It's like, sure, Dane's an intrinsic. We don't have any evidence that he has a second signet. So, like, well, what does he even need to channel from the earth for?
True.
Unless maybe he has a second signet that we don't know about.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the big one, and this is the good one. This is the one that we will find out, when the second book comes back. I just also want to say, under this theory, when Violet woke up, they said that like 6 eggs were missing. And I was wondering, if Xaden took the 6 eggs along with Violet. How long do you think the flight? They said they were only gone for 12 hours. But Garrett could walk them all there. Like
that, that's the thing. Garrett can walk, which is something that makes me think like maybe it could be him because he could have walked them a further distance using his power.
Exactly. So like, because they went to the Temple of Dune, we don't know if it was the one on. Do we know if it was the one on Umbriel or not?
I think it would have had to be in order to like
for that
like, to
note
properly
and all of that.
have it.
Yeah. So, and then last time we heard, Umbriel asked for 12 eggs. You know, maybe Xaden's over there trying to figure out what his next move is, you know?
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm so, like, these books, but the last, like, 3 chapters of every single one, I'm like, but why? Why are you doing this to me?
Here's a theory that I'm like, I guess. What do you think about Violet might being the cure for the Venom? Like, she spends all of Onyx Storm looking for a cure for Xaden. What if she was the cure all along?
It's really interesting. And so I think like the reasons behind this theory is because she has started learning how to imbue power into objects, so that she doesn't burn out, and to work on like strengthening her power. And she, you know, allowed Jack Barlow, who's a Venom, to draw power from it. And I don't know why people think that she would have accidentally cured it. Like, I feel like at no point is he cured. And if he was, Xaden would have said, hey, he's not a Venom anymore. I can't feel it. Please allow me to channel from the coin and I too will be healed, you know? Like,
right.
I think it's going to be something a little bit more complicated than that. Like,
I hope so.
I think that what this says more so is not necessarily that Violet is the cure for the Venom, but that Violet's signet is not lightning, but instead pure power. Like, she can generate pure power versus it being specifically lightning. And that's why, like, obviously the Venom love to draw from her power because it's just beautiful, nice, pure power. And so my theory is that I don't think the Venom are as evil as we've been led to believe as well.
What?
I think there's something bigger going on, and it's with the dragons, because all of this has like, there's all this balance. So when there's like someone who can control the weather in the Dragon Riders, then there's a Venom who can control the weather. When there's someone who can like a walker, then there's a walker. Like, it's just like it seems like there's just this principle of balance in the whole universe. And I really wish that I could understand the Star Wars references, but I've only seen episode 1, so I'm not really equipped.
Oh my God, don't say that.
I love saying that. I love the look on a Star Wars fan's face when I say I've only seen episode 1 and I think that Jar Jar Binks was Sith.
We are shaking the table here, folks.
Like, let me get people riled up. See, I told y'all you don't want to be in a fight with me. I'll do psychological warfare. And so, like, I think that there's something there with like the way the Irids don't want to help, but then like the dragons aren't honest at home, and then
and the series is named after the dragons. The Empyrean series, that's the dragons.
So I don't know. I just think there's like something more there. And so maybe the Venom aren't necessarily as evil as we've been like. It's the same as like first book, they thought the Griffin Riders were evil. Then they get to meet and interact with them, and they learn that the Griffin Riders are not evil. They are just fighting another battle. And so then it's like, but what's the Venom's motivation? Because like once someone's already a Venom, I can see the whole like absolute power corrupts absolutely situation.
Yeah,
but like what makes someone become a Venom other than desperation? Like, and so like, why are they so desperate? And like, what's the cause of all of this? Like, I just think there's something more there.
So like, it's all about power source, right? It's all about like once you learn that you are a magic wielder, period, or can wield power, period, it's then where is your source of your power coming from? So like when these riders cross parapet, they go through threshing and they are then chosen by a dragon, that's when that they learn that they can be magic wielders. They are given their signet through their dragon. Their dragon now becomes the source of their power. That's why if they lose their dragon, the source of their power is gone. And more than likely it kills them. The only reason it didn't kill Violet is because she had two dragons. And that's the main crux of all of this, because if you're siphoning from the dragons and you're using power in a way that can be checked by them, it's all fine and dandy, it's all great. But then it's when you become Venin, you're channeling the power source from the earth directly. That is, which is like the main power source. But when you're channeling it from the earth, you are draining it, and it is not a replenishable type of power when you are draining it from the source. And so that's Venin, the power source to them is the earth, and that's how they become Venin. That's how it corrupts them, because it always calls to them to want more and more. It's almost like a starving power. It's like a power that's insatiable, a call to them, a hunger that's insatiable. So if we are saying that Violet herself is pure power, she might technically be the cure for Venin, or in this case, Xaden. Maybe she will be the bond that he can, if he can cut off, that wanting that power source from the earth, from the Venin, she can become his power source, and that could be the quote unquote cure. It would be very sappy. Yeah, that would be very, very sappy. But
and it's the thing where it's like, then that's not a permanent cure, right? It's just that like Violet then is providing power that can quote unquote cure, and so anyone else who's a Venin who doesn't have access to Violet is then not cured.
Not cured, yeah.
So it's it's,
I mean,
there's definitely something with her power. There's definitely something with her power in the Venins, and I don't know if it's a cure necessarily, or if it's just like an explanation for why they want her so badly.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about this one. The marked ones often having two signets. So some people think that, I mean, I feel like it was expressed in the book that some of the dragons have bonded from the same familial line.
Yeah, and so it's, if you bond with a dragon that had previously bonded to somebody else in your bloodline, it increases your chances of having a second signet. And I think that the explanation for like why that's bad is that if it's like a direct descendant, they think, oh, you'll go mad. And so then I think that they would kill the dragon rider who bonded to like the same dragon as like their mom or grandfather or whatever. And so we know that the dragons lie, because Xaden is bonded with Sigale, and we know that they fudged the relationship. Of like,
Xaden did tell her that, right?
Xaden told her that. And then I saw at like, because Rebecca Yarros did like a whole tour when this book was released, and someone had asked a question about something related to this, and she basically said, well, the dragon names are only entered like into the record because the dragon tells their rider what name to put down, right? And so who's to say that the dragons are being honest, is basically like the vibe that Rebecca herself gave
at this
event. And so I think back to how the whole plot of the first book is learning that the Venin actually are real and are not fairy tale stories, and about how, you write the new history, a generation teaches it, and then the reality is lost. I think that goes into the relationships between riders whose dragons have bonded to someone of their lineage, where now it's being taught, it's like, oh, you'll go mad with power and like you would be dead, but actually it's just they are more powerful and often will have two signets, and that's being seen with all of the marked ones, because I think a lot of those dragons are like, I know your mom. And I thought she was doing the right thing. So I will bond to you because I assume you will carry on the mission that your parent was doing before they were put to death.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, okay. And that I found interesting because, like, to me, at least the way that Taryn talks about his name and his lineage, he's so prideful of it. So I had never initially thought that they would lie about it, you know?
And I think that's like Tarn is like the moral, like true north of the dragons, right? Like we often hear him talking about how there's disagreements in the Empyrean about what to do about different things. Like at the end of the first book, when half of the riders at the school leave to go to Tyrandor, it's like it was up to their dragon on if they would go or not go or tell their person the truth or not tell them the truth. And so like
that's true.
I want to know more about these complicated dragon politics.
I know. I love a good dragon politics. So yeah, I'm sorry, I do. So yeah, so I think that's interesting. And I yeah, I really hope we get more, because it was kind of like not a footnote. It wasn't a footnote, but it was like kind of an explanation in the middle again of a small skirmish. Like, oh yeah, all the marked ones kind of have double signets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you know what I'm
like
saying?
we didn't even know. And then all of a sudden it was like another one.
Yes, yes, exactly. And they're just like going down the line of like all the double signets, and it's really cool, you know. And then Violet herself manifests a double signet, but instead of it being from like the same dragon, we know that it's because she herself bonded to dragons. And finally, one final theory, which we kind of touched on when we said a lot of people really do think that Brennan will like betray Erasure and Navarre, which I don't understand where that comes from.
So I think the basis of this one is that obviously at the start of the first book, Violet and her whole family thought that Brennan was dead because she was in he was in a battle many like years ago where the Cherish Rebellion, where his best friend, is it Nalan?
Nalan. I don't know.
His Nalan's power was that he was a healer, or like he could draw life or something.
Yeah.
And basically like he used so much power allegedly to like bring Brennan back from like the brink of death. He was a scythe. Yeah. And so they think he like used so much to bring Brennan back that it killed him. And that's kind of like what we're told. But a lot of people think that he is actually like the head of all the Venom.
I think that I kind of agree with. I think so too. I think, you know, Taryn says that he died of burnout. Taryn doesn't like to really talk about it. And then Brennan's alive. They thought that Brennan and Nalan died. Like Brennan dying, the Nalan dying, trying to revive him and burning out. But Brennan's here. Brennan's alive. So did Nalan siphon from the earth to bring Brennan back, and then is now a sage? And not only that, people think that they were probably in a relationship, which yes, please.
Okay, yeah.
Can that be canon?
Yeah, tell me more. And I think that actually would make a lot of sense with if Taryn had the experience of losing a rider to becoming Venom. It almost makes more sense of Sigale's response to Xaden turning Venom, because obviously she's mates with Taryn and would know how he felt about all of that the whole time. And then for the same thing to happen to her, it gives again that sense of balance. Like there's always balance. Like even there's the theory that Violet is so powerful in magic because she's so weak in her body because of the conditions that she lives in, being chronically ill.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be good. I would like that one. Like Because Brennan just was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm here. What's up,
It's
y'all?"
and like Rebecca is very willing to put like ships into the book that maybe won't necessarily go over well with like the general, you know, book talk or book audience, because like how many damn times does she have to like specifically describe Xaden's brown skin for people to be like, well, what? Why would you be fan casting like a person of color? Like in my brain, he's like she says it straight up. She says that he is a person of color.
She did. She does.
Dark and so I think that like she'll be fine with having more. Like there is already like queer relationships in the books as well. So like she's definitely open to adding more of that. And like that at least gives like some stakes. Like I could see Brennan being like so mad that Xaden turned Venom, because now he's like, now Violet has to go through what I'm going through with my lover who's a Venom. And like, I don't know, it adds up, and I would love to see it.
Yeah,
I would love to see it.
That would be great.
One thing we did not mention once this whole time, which I just think is fair to mention, is in this book we meet Eric, who is one of the sons of the king.
Oh yeah,
who is like using a fake identity to be a dragon, to become a dragon rider, because he has no interest in like the life that has been laid out for him. And at the end we find out he can see the future.
Precog. I love that was so cool. I love that.
And I was so stoked because I loved Eric from step one. Like I was so upset. But then that means that the Venom also have a precog, probably. So it's like, I don't know. It's really, I like it because no one is really like that OP. Like the Venom are a little OP because they can draw from the earth, but like there's only so much power.
Yeah. And what's her name? Liam's little sister. She's the Siphon too.
Which implies that there's a Siphon possibly on the Venom side, which would be Nayland. I think we've cracked this case wide open.
We've cracked it wide open. Like, yes.
But yeah, just because I think he's going to be a big part of the rest of the series.
He was so cool. And honestly, like, I know we kind of skimmed over the island parts, but honestly, I really liked his involvement over there in the islands. I actually liked every time they went to the island and they were faced with like a different trial. Like, again, that could have been its own little book. I love when people go on, like, it felt like an epic, an odyssey.
I love a side quest.
Yes, exactly. But I really think that they've set up what's to come very well. And I would just like to say these last two books, thank God she like took her foot off the gas of the spiciness. Like the whole first book, it was like very traditionally like, oh my God, we should be saving the world, but we're having sex type thing, you know? And and by like the third book, I was like, okay, it's like random sex scene as opposed to like every other second. It got to the point where I was like, get back to the plot. I do not care about these scenes at all.
Yeah, you and I talked about this before. Where we were like the sex scenes are fine. Like they seem to be, you know, like physically possible, which not every romance author is able to do.
Talk about
but like I'm just so into like the world that I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, keep it off page. Like I don't care if they fucked on the throne. It doesn't matter to me.
It does not.
But and I wonder if this is a shift, like with obviously it's romantasy. There's always gonna be a romantic element, but like every book has a romantic element. Like I think it's so weird when people really disparage the romance genre as if like every book doesn't have like sex and relationships, because that's part of life. But I think it's maybe moving into more of a traditional fantasy with Xaden being a Venom and not wanting to touch Violet.
I agree. And you know, it doesn't need it. Like the writing to me is just so incredibly good that you don't need to rely. It was like a great way to get the foot in the door, because let's be honest, like a lot of book talk or it's like smut talk, spicy. And for me, I don't disparage any type of book anybody read. If you read 100 books, you read 100 books. Yes, I don't care if they're fiction, nonfiction, whatever. I
don't care if it's a picture book.
Exactly.
It's 100 books.
You crack those books open, so you get the credit for it. So, but you can tell when books are written to like with the invention of TikTok and the internet and creating viral moments, like that's just marketing at this point. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So you can tell when books do that on purpose. And I don't think Rebecca Yarros initially did that on purpose, but now it's all hands on deck. It's pedal to the metal, and it's a really good series. So if you've listened this far and you haven't read the series, we would really suggest you go and read the series. Please let us know in the comments what are some other fan theories that you might have heard of that we didn't address. Talk back. Let us know. We want to hear your thoughts. Kirsten, any final thoughts? If not, plugs.
No more thoughts. Just read the book and you'll understand what we were babbling about a little bit more. And if you're interested in future like book club episodes or other, like, because books are part of popular culture too, and so it's kind of nice to include reviews and book clubs. So let us know if you're interested in that. I will crash Recap Kickback anytime that I am allowed. So I'm happy to have Ladies Night with Mari anytime. And we can maybe bring in some of our other bookish friends too. And follow me everywhere except Twitter at Kirsten Said What. That includes twitch.tv/Kirsten Said What, TikTok, Instagram, all of it again, except Twitter.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, Mari.
No problem. I'm so glad we could do this. This is so much fun. Oh my God.
Literally, I could do this for 7 more hours.
Very that. What are you currently reading? Let me put you on the spot.
I just finished reading Wild and Wrangled, which is the 4th of the Rebel Blue Ranch romance series, which I really, really liked. They have like the covers are so cute. Where is it? Like, look how cute it is.
Oh, okay.
Like they're super cute, and there's 4 books in the series, and this was the last one, and I think it's my favorite, but I liked all of them just fine. And the next book I'm gonna read is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. So
R.F. Kuang. Yes. Yellowface was amazing. We both read it.
Yes. So I'm really excited to get into, and I think Poppy Wars, I'm pretty sure, is like another kind of epic fantasy series. So I'm excited.
I think so. Yes. Well, you can follow me over on Blue Sky at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. Like I said, please subscribe to Recap Kickback by going to recapkickback.com. Follow us on YouTube. Leave us all of the things. We really enjoyed having you here. If, like Kirsten said, if you want more book coverage, you gotta let us know. You gotta let the powers that be know. So if you like this, please like it. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. I am currently reading Harriet Tubman live in concert by Bob the Drag Queen. I'm listening to it.
My colleague just listened to that and she said it was really good.
Yeah, I love Bob the Drag Queen, and this book is no exception. Yeah. So I don't know what another Audible credit just dropped today, so I don't know what I'm going to use that on. I feel like somebody has suggested something to me. Oh, I think my husband suggested A Kind Worth Dying. Okay. I think
there is a new Emily Henry that just came out as well, Great Big Beautiful Life, and it's stunning.
My best friend suggested it's a horror book, and it's called Victorian Psycho.
Oh.
I put that one on pause to start Harriet Tubman live in concert. So let us know what you're listening to. And again, thank you for being here. You know the saying, you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here. Thanks, everybody. Bye. I've been trapped behind the wall, Maria. Isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.